Hi guys, welcome to Mike's Guitar Workshop. Today we're going to set up this Yamaha Pacifica. It's for a student, but that doesn't mean that they can't have a great playing guitar. Before we get going, somebody asked me about this neck brace that I've got here. Basically it's just, excuse all the tape, it's just some plywood that I put together. Just made a triangle. I knocked a piece of rubber in here to give a curve, and this one side is angled over here, and then I just lay cloth over the top, and I can put, because of the angle, it just sits nice and solid. Without the angle, so if we just turn it around, it's a bit more wobbly, but this can accommodate acoustic guitars, any kind of guitar, and I find it's just a nice stable platform to be working on, fiddling with the tuners, filing frets or whatever it is that you need to do. Right, so let's get cracking. Right, so in order that I do it in, which makes the most sense to me, is while the old strings are on, I do all of this while the old strings are still on. I set the neck relief and I adjust that if needed. Then I check the nut action and I cut that if I need to. Then I set the string action, I adjust that at the bridge, and I adjust the trem basically at the same time if I need to. Thereafter I'll remove the strings, clean the frets, clean the fretboard, fix any electrical issues, restring it, stretch the strings, check the intonation, and do a playthrough. Okay, so the way we check the relief is we put a caper on the first fret, and then we finger the fret there where it meets the body, and we check in the middle where it'll be about around the 7th fret or so. And this particular one is 0.5 millimeters. I like it at 0.2, but I think that's about the bare minimum. So you can use a feeler gauge for that. So we just got to remove the little cap that's covering the truss rod cover. And this one's got a small one like this. Sorry about the blurry video. While all the strings are on and while the neck is under tension, I'll find the appropriate Allen key, and first I'll loosen the truss rod a little bit, and then I'll tighten it a quarter turn at a time. Then I'll check it, and here's a bit of a close-up. So that's what I'm talking about. 0.2 millimeters. So the neck still has relief, it's not bowed backwards, and the action will be nice and low, and if need be, adjust as you need to. Then I check the nut action after I've done the neck relief, and I finger the the second fret, and I tap on the strings, and this measurement is also about 0.2, but I don't use a feeler gauge anymore, I just do it by eye, and this particular nut was very nicely cut, so I didn't do anything there. Now I'm checking the neck action. Now you can do this with many different tools. You can use a feeler gauge, you can use a vernier, you can use whatever it takes to get to the right height. And my low action is my sort of standard action, and instead of trying to find the appropriate feeler gauges, I just use 4 business cards, and 4 business cards is exactly 1.2 millimeters. So there I'm just checking with a feeler gauge, and it was exactly 1.2 after I finished, and you adjust that by adjusting the saddle heights in this instance. And while I'm doing the saddle heights, I'm also checking the string radius that it follows the neck. Ideally for that you would need a string radius gauge which goes under the strings like this, and then you can set the string radius. But I've done so many guitars that I just tend to do this by eye. I did 3D print some of these, but I never used them. So I'm just going through the guitar. I found some loose screws, so I'm just fixing those quickly. And I've done the basic setup, so I'm just doing a quick playthrough to make sure that there's nothing strange, that it feels good. Remember, the old strings are still on here. In this guitar we didn't actually change the strings, they were new already, so but they'll come off just now to clean the frets. Then I noticed that this jack output plate is a bit non-functioning, and I discovered that the earth wire is not even connected, so that will never work. But while I was at it, I decided to jump into Fusion 360 and quickly model a new one, which I then sent to the 3D printer, and we just printed out a new one of those. While I was at it, I also lengthened the output jack cables because they were just barely sticking out the hole at the bottom. So I thought I'll just put some new ones on, and you'll notice I've twisted them together. Now that the strings are off, the setup is basically done. It's just the finessing. So here I've got my little fretboard protector, and I'm rubbing the frets down with some fine steel wool. That gets rid of all the gunge and crap. Thereafter I'll put some lemon oil on to recondition the board. This guitar was still in fairly new condition, so there was not much crud or anything on the fretboard, but usually I would clean that up. Now I'm putting the strings back on, and these are the old strings, but they were in very good condition, basically new. And you'll notice just now when I hit the A, then I'll start stretching them, and they were not stretched at all. You'll hear as I go along. So basically what I do is I just tune it up to anything, and as I'm stretching it, the tune will drop, and then I'll retune until they don't drop in tune anymore, or very little, and then I'll know that I've stretched them enough. And you do this for all the strings, obviously. Here's the 3D printed output jack plate that I'm just putting back together, and that worked out pretty well actually. Another 3D printed tool that I also use to remove volume pots. So just screwing all that back together, and nobody will ever know the difference. I noticed that this hole is a bit enlarged, so I just put a cocktail stick down there and tighten that up. So now I'm just doing a quick playthrough to make sure there's no buzzing. I'll do the pickup height next, and this is about 3 to 4 millimeters from the bottom of the string, and I've done this so many times that I just do it by eye. I'm doing the intonation now. Just remember, if the string is flat, you need to shorten the string, and if the string is sharp, you need to lengthen the string. Have a tuner at hand if you want it exact. I do this by ear, and I'm usually 99% accurate. So doing a final playthrough. Guys, thanks a lot. Please hit the like and subscribe if you like this, and we'll see you in the next one.